Have you ever gotten to a point in your life where you feel like it's too late to get started, to get in shape? Like you've missed the boat? Well, here's the thing, and I often talk about this in my podcast, actually, and with this phrase, it's never too late. And so we're going to dive into this about fitness today, where you may have gotten to a chapter of life where you're like, man, I've drifted so far off course. How did I get here? And man, it just seems like such a big uphill climb. Maybe it's a little bit too late for me to even consider getting in shape. So I'm going to give you some tips that you can use no matter what your age, okay? But before we get into all this great stuff, make sure you get over to talktoperry.com. That's where my calendar's at. It's wide open. It's all about keeping your energy high so that you can reach all of your goals. I mean, your mental and physical battery is what I'm talking about. That's at talktoperry.com. And I do want to say, welcome to another Power Blast podcast where we provide nourishment for the soul, allowing you to transform from the inside out, providing rapid results in mindset. That's the big part, mindset, and fitness so that you can recharge that mental and physical battery of yours like I was just talking about and reclaim your power. So let's get into some of these things today where, I'm just going to share from my experience because I know that when I got to this certain chapter of life, I was feeling like, man, it's too late for me. And I didn't realize that was a misconception because I had drifted so far off course. At the time, I was nearing the time where I was going to turn 40, and I wasn't having one of these little, oh my gosh, I'm going to be 40, it's over the hill, and all that. I wasn't there. I wasn't that at that point. I was just, oh my gosh, how did I get here? I'm so out of shape. I'm so overwhelmed. I have a huge beer gut. I never thought I would be this way, and I could see the pattern of where my some family and friends of mine, where their journey had gone. Yeah, they're maybe a few years older, or maybe 10 20 years older than me, and I could just literally see the roadmap in front of me because I was doing the same thing. I was inactive. I was keeping as busy as possible, but it wasn't like a physically fit sort of thing. And so I was at this point where I was having this conversation with myself, and I know a lot of us, we do, whether we admit it or not, thinking, gosh, is it even possible? So you kind of turn to, well, I can dial in the diet and the eating and stuff. Thing is, when time after time I would do this, I would feel like, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to give up all this stuff, and I would maybe dabble in it a little bit, and then I would just kind of ignore it and pretend that wasn't important to me. And getting into a fitness routine, oh my gosh, the only thing that could pop into my head was you can at least go in and walk the mall. That was where it was at for me. You can get out and walk. And there wasn't a mall in our town. So, but I'm creating all these little things. And then I started questioning whether coming up with a plan was the right way to go about it, or questioning and really looking at what is the limiting story I keep telling myself. Is it really too late to start exercise? Maybe not the exercise that I once did it back in college or high school, but can I do some exercise to get into a routine? Can I get in shape? Can I make my muscles stronger? Now, I didn't, there's a lot of research out there now. There probably was back then, but there wasn't the, quick Google something, quick, go on YouTube or anything like that. And so I just kind of started testing things out. And so this is where kind of the way I want to really advocate for becoming aware of what sort of thoughts you're thinking, what sort of limitations you're trying to defend and rationalize and reason away. Oh, I can't do this because I've got this long commute. I can't get in shape because it's too late in life. I can't get in shape because I've got a huge to-do list. Question all of those. Okay. A lot of times I run these little free master classes and I have people write their lists. What are all your barriers? And people will write those down. I can't because of, time and then we start breaking it down. Well, what is it? How are you using your time? What are the different things? Not that it's up to me to say, oh, right here, look, you got it wrong here. That's not for me to say. What it is a person becoming aware of the things that they are creating these barriers for themselves when they really aren't barriers at all. They're just like little obstacles that they can manipulate in a blink of an eye. But a lot of us, we will go into let's time thing. Say, I frankly just don't have the time. But if you were really serious and there was a really strong desire and you were willing to do it, you would make the time. You would figure it out. But it's really easy to say, I don't have the time. That means I don't have to deal with it. That means, hey, I can just push it off and ignore it and just say, that's the reason why I can't do it. And then we defend it. That's what would happen. That's what was happening when it came to, gosh, it's too late in life to do this. And yeah, there's a lot of health benefits for late starters. When we just getting into the flexibility and the strength. I love strength training in later chapters of life here because you see balance is huge. Heart health, mood, sleep, all that stuff improves. But a lot of times we can see the benefits and go, yeah, because it seems so abstract to us because we haven't been living that. We haven't experienced that, at least in this chapter of life, that it just seems like, I don't know, this is cartoon world, right? So it was those things I would see, because I used to be a 2-pack a day smoker at one point. People would tell me all the benefits of not being a smoker. I knew that. I just happened to like smoking. So there wasn't any incentive for me to go after those benefits because I like this. But I got to a tipping point. And that's what happened with my health and fitness. I got to a tipping point where it wasn't necessarily the age, but the age story was popping up in my head that was giving me an excuse to say, just settle this, just deal with what this is the way life is supposed to be. So this is why I'm telling you to be aware of those stories that you're sharing with yourself, telling yourself, and then defending. If somebody else brings it up, you'll defend why you're not a morning person. You'll defend why you hate vegetables. You'll defend why you don't have time. And you'll go out of your way to prove it, and like you're proving it to yourself. But when you start on your journey and just say, you know what, I'm going to test this out and prove to myself that it is never too late. I'm going to do this. And it may be challenging and humbling at the beginning. But if you start looking at it instead of saying, I got to get to my next 90 days, or I've got to get to the next, be in shape for the wedding or for vacation, or maybe it's, oh, I'm about to turn 50 next year. I got to get in shape for, we put these little things. What if you just thought in, what does the next decade for me look like? How do I want that next decade to be? The next 10 years of life, how do I want that to be? As opposed to I'm getting to this little benchmark. Now, I get it. Having little mini goals is great. That's the way I do it. I think in goals in 30-day chunks. But I'm thinking, what does it look like all through my next decade here? And I don't look, and then I break it down. What will the next 30 days look like as I'm visualizing that next 30 days? So, it can feel daunting when you're wanting to do this and get started, like in a later chapter of life. You might feel like there's some worry there. You might feel like, oh my gosh, I'm going to get injured. Start slowly, but be consistent. Okay? Listen to your body, but also catch yourself when you're actually using excuse versus, oh, I need to recover. Sometimes people would be like, oh, I'm sore. I need to take the extra day off. And then it turns into an extra week off. Where it's like, soreness means the body is changing. You're getting some, and initially you'll work out and you won't feel sore right away. You'll feel sore a couple days later, and you'll wonder what hit you. But and to be honest, I've been on this journey for 20 years. So that's 2 decades. And yeah, I am sore somewhere every day. Yeah, I embrace it. Changes are happening. So you can choose with like beginner friendly sort of things. For me, it was just pushing and pulling exercises. For some, it could be walking, it could be swimming, it could be yoga. I avoided yoga for the longest time, and I defended my reasons for not liking it until I tried it. Then it made all my other exercises easier and better and faster results. So, of course, you want to talk to a physician or get, medical advice before you get started here. But I didn't. I was like, well, I'm just out to prove this. And the key for me was just finding the routine that I was willing to stick with, and not bouncing from thing to thing. And over the years, as I got momentum going, I was able to test out more, um, increase the intensity, increase the endurance, increase the strength, increase the amount of weights I was lifting. All this stuff I never thought I would ever be able to do. But remember, it's not about the exercise. Um, it's about the consistency. You want to have some good exercise too. I tried to figure out ways to simplify so I didn't have to overthink what I was going to do for exercise. Eating right and hydrating is another great part of it. Getting good sleep. But that, you know, as I was exercising, I wanted to eat better. I started to feel better. I started to sleep better. I wanted to hydrate. So all these things kind of daisy chained together. And then getting support and having a community around, getting into an environment where you're thriving and you everybody's going after their own goal, and that's motivating, um, as opposed to being in an environment that's off-putting and some that's making you feel limited. So that's why I say look for a local group or an online community. As a matter of fact, you can reach out to me. I'll give you my email right now, perry@putyourselffirst.com. You can email me, and I run an online virtual fitness group every month. We check in every day with what we're doing. We set goals, share recipes, share motivation, support each other. That's super motivating, super energetic and uplifting. Speaking of energy, and so I tell people, hop on over to talktoperry.com, book a recharge call with me, or a charge up call, I guess I should say. It's all about boosting that mental and physical battery, and that's what I talk about. And because so many of us, we live our life like we're a 5-year-old smartphone, 2% battery life, and we're just going day to day, and we're defending limitations, but don't dare add one more thing to our to-do list because I can't find a charger nearby, right? That's how we go about it. And I want to help you recharge. I want to hear what your struggles are, what your goals are, and just in 15 minutes, absolutely free, I can tell you which way will be the best for you as far as your direction goes, where you're going to get the best results from, so that you can really reclaim your power. I mean, imagine what your life would look like if your mental and physical battery is running at 100% every single day. TalkToPerry.com is where that's at. So, I don't know if I got on my soapbox enough today about really minimizing that, oh my gosh, it's too late in life for me. I mean, of course, you want to take a look at the conditions and where things are for you. Are you willing? Are you able to do these things? And really question some of the thinking and beliefs that you have that are keeping you where you're at, and saying, are these really barriers, or am I? And even maybe rank them. The level 1 barrier is something you could change in an instant. Level 4 might be, oh my gosh, I've got. I'm a caretaker for somebody, or I've got this limitation where I've maybe got a chronic illness or something like that. Would be more of a level 4 barrier. But which ones can you manipulate? Really question those, because look at the next decade. Never stop improving. Make positive changes. Get in the game and keep going. While little temporary goal, or not temporary goals, while short-term goals are great, think long-term, okay? And then string those short-term goals together. So thanks so much for tuning in. Don't forget to head over to talktoperry.com, and just know you can choose to use your power and take control. Or you can let the excuses, defending limitations, comparison, environment, telling yourself stories that it's too late in life to get started, you can let that control you and drain your power. It really boils down to deciding and committing to yourself and your goals, and then taking action, looking at possibilities, learning, growing, and keep moving forward. You've got this, my friend. I'd love to hear your top takeaway from today. Drop those down in the comments. I will respond to those. You absolutely rock, my friend. And as always, remember, it's never too late. See, there it is. It's never too late. We'll see you next week. That's another Power Blast podcast in the books. Thanks so much for tuning in. And remember, when you are ready to recharge your battery, make sure you go to talktoperry.com. That's talktoperry.com. That's Perry. And I want to listen. I want to hear, what's going on. I want to help you in that 15-minute call to recharge your battery and reclaim your power so that you're off and running and creating massive momentum toward your dream. Also, every day, I am delivering more motivation, support, tips, and strategies inside my free community with amazing people like yourself. And we are conquering the mindset and the fitness. I do 52 weeks of free training in there. Plus, I coach and I mentor people, as well as give you access to tons of resources and guides. It's called my Upside Down Fitness community because we work on a lot of mindset stuff, the inside stuff. And we're a fun group of people striving to make healthier habits in this awesome chapter of life. So make sure you get in there. I promise you'll absolutely love it. Just head over to upsidedownfit.com and you can get into the group. And hey, you would be an awesome friend if you get over to iTunes or wherever you listen to your podcast and leave an honest rating and review for the Power Blast podcast. It helps awesome people like you find this show even faster, and that's who I'm looking for, awesome people like you. That's all I have for this week, my friend, and just to let you know, you absolutely rock. That's all I have for this week. I'll see you on the next Power Blast podcast, and always remember, it's never too late. We'll see you next week.